President János Áder on Wednesday apologized in Serbia's national parliament for crimes Hungarians committed against innocent Serbs in Vojvodina during World War II, and his speech was received with a standing ovation. Áder quoted Serbian counterpart Tomislav Nikolic, saying during his visit in Hungary that time has come for mutual apologies and forgiveness. Áder said that lawmakers of Serbia's parliament had taken an important and historic step by adopting a declaration last Friday that refused the principle of collective guilt. Later, Áder and Nikolic together paid respect in the village of Csurogi in Vojvodina to the memory of innocent Serbian and Hungarian victims killed there during World War II. Tamás Korhec, head of the Hungarian National Council of Vojvodina, said ethnic Hungarians in Vojvodina had successfully freed themselves from the stigma of being a sinful nation. Alliance of Vojvodina Hungarians leader István Pásztor said 7 decades had to pass before the memorial events in Csurog could take place, and they were the result of much work and very many efforts.
Hungary will reduce household gas and electricity prices by another 10% in October, Prime Minister Viktor Orban said at the EU summit in Brussels. He said he briefed his partners about this measure during the discussion held about the EU's country-specific recommendations for member states. He said Hungary agrees with the recommendations for cutting public debt and launching programs to reduce youth unemployment. He, however, firmly rejected recommendations for abandoning energy price regulation and halting cuts in public utility fees, insisting that each country should be allowed to determine its own taxation system. Orban said that the report about Hungary knows that the country stands firmly on its feet, its finances are stable, and the country has been lifted from the EU's excessive deficit procedure.
The Council of Europe will not start a monitoring procedure on concerns over the rule of law in Hungary. The councillors did not vote for the original proposal, but adopted a compromise instead. The Assembly decided to closely watch developments and, without a set deadline, to take stock of the progress achieved in implementing recommendations made to Hungary. Gergely Prőle, the Deputy State Secretary at the Foreign Ministry, called the Strasbourg decision a success for Hungary and added that the country was able to argue its case professionally to prove that the rule of law had not been violated and that European principles safeguarded by the Council of Europe have not been compromised. Serbia has set an example for several European Union members by officially condemning massacres committed in 1944 and 45, as well as decisions made on the principle of collective guilt, President János Áder said after talks with his Serbian counterpart Tomislav Nikolic in Belgrade. On Wednesday, the two presidents will attend a joint commemoration in northern Serbia's Csurog to pay tribute to Hungarians and Serbs killed during the Second World War. With the Csurog event, Serbia will set another example for many EU members, Áder said. The Smithsonian Folklife Festival opened in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday with Hungary as its guest of honor this year. The largest festival of the American capital draws on average 1 million visitors each year. The 10-day program features Hungarian music, dance, craftsmanship, wines and gastronomy. Each evening will showcase different musicians from last year's winners of the Folk Talent Competition produced by the Media Service Support and Asset Management Fund. The festival's Hungarian program was opened by Deputy Prime Minister Tibor Navracsics. A Hungarian-Slovak memorial plaque dedicated to László Skultéti, the longest-served Hungarian hussar, was unveiled in the cemetery of Slovakia's Révkomárom on Tuesday upon the initiative of a local civil organization. Skultéti will be reburied in his native village Hegyesmajtény on June 17th in northern Slovakia. Skultéti was born in 1738 and served 81 years in Hungarian hussar regiments. He fought in altogether 22 campaigns of the Habsburg Empire against France, Turkey, Prussia, Russia and Italian states. He was discharged in 1831 as a veteran no longer fit for service and died in the same year. The earthly remains of Hungary's longest-serving hussar, László Skultéti, were reburied at the cemetery of Hegyesmajtény in Slovakia on the 275th anniversary of his birth. Skultéti was buried in Újarad, and the Romanian authorities removed his remains from the cemetery on May 21 to transfer them to his birthplace in Slovakia. Skultety was a flag bearer in the Habsburg army for 81 years. A quadlingual sign on his grave in the church garden of Hegyesmajtény tells in Slovak, Hungarian, English and German about the Hussars' achievements in 22 campaigns during his life.
The first bust of Kossuth Prize-winning playwright András Sütő has been inaugurated in Transylvania. The bronze sculpture, a work by local artist Walter Zawadzki, was unveiled next to the Culture Center of Székelyudvarhely, just beside the memorials of István Széchenyi and Sándor Tomcsa. The bust was financed from donations by local people, residents of Zetelaka and the Communitas Foundation. The ceremony was attended by friends, fellow authors and acquaintances from all parts of the world.
Tamás Korhec, president of the Hungarian National Council of Vojvodina, received the Csaba Lőrinc Prize this year. Referring to recent acts of reconciliation by Presidents János Áder of Hungary and Tomislav Nikolic of Serbia, Hungary's State Secretary of Foreign Affairs Zsolt Németh said that one could not have found a better occasion for honoring a politician of Vojvodina. He noted that Vojvodina's Hungarian political elite had been fighting for reconciliation for several years.